on our system, on our network. And I'll be going to Lucky, as my colleague has actually made us understand our topic, which means like how to investigate WMI through Lucky Yara. So Lucky is like a security tool or a system scanner that targets our machine indicator of compromise. I know I already explained what indicator of compromise is, which is IOC. So this Lucky tool is a system that it targets the indicator of compromise and allows us to search for intrusion activities. Lucky actually uses several things to perform its function, and one of it, which is our topic, is using Yara, which will lead me to the definition of Yara. So Yara is like a ruse, and the purpose of the Yara ruse is just for the detection of malicious, like it is detection for the malicious activities. It is used to detect malware. It is used to detect malware and to understand what malware is. So Yara rules, they are actually used to classify and identify malware. They are used. The system will actually curate like a certain rules. So this rules, the purpose of the rules is just to like look for certain characteristics of threat, and is actually mainly used for malware research and detection. But one thing we have to know is that before we can even say we want to actually start investigating on our machine, like when we can say we want to start investigating WMI backdoors, the first thing we should firstly do before we start anything is for us to do imaging. We have to firstly do imaging anytime we want to start our investigation. And what is imaging? Imaging is just like a compressive duplicate of electronic data of a device on our system. So that will be the first thing we're going to do anytime we want to carry out an investigation on our machine. So Judy, my colleague, will be taking us through the demo on how we can actually do WMI backdoor investigation. Over to you, Judy.
Thank you so much, Olua Pelumi. I'm Judy, and I will be taking you through the demo. So this is the compromised machine, and I am going to carry out a live investigation process. Okay, which is of course made after you have made a full image of this system. So with me, these are the applications that are going to help me when carrying out this live investigation process. So this basically PowerShell script, and PowerShell helps the users and administrators to automate complicated tasks with reusable script. So this is registry editor. It is a graphical tool that enables the user to authorized users. It enables authorized users to view and make changes on the Windows registry. And I have the task pendulum. So it allows users to automatically perform routine tasks on a choosing computer. And I have a process hacker. It is an open source tool that enables the user to view programs running on a device. Also, it identifies programs that are eating up the CPU resources. Also, I have Autolance, which presents names and elements. It presents names and location to the system of the application startup program that we learn once the disk is inserted. Also, this is the Lucky Yara output. So Lucky, it stands for a simple indicator of compromise. And I have the tools which are provided to me by the author of this room. So you see, I have got the Lucky tool, which scans Yala rules. It matches the Yala rules to find out whether they are or the causes that triggers the Yara rules. Of course, so I'm going to start with the demo. I want to know what's happening to the machine, and I'm going to start with the task pendulum. So once you open that, click on scheduler library. And I have a number of scheduled tasks provided to me. One of them is first update 22. So you can see after triggered, repeat every 2 minutes indefinitely. And once you click on actions, you're going to see that this is the command that is executed once this event is triggered. PowerShell, window style hidden, dash no profile, dash C blank. So it's blank. It means that this it's just for demonstration purpose. So the other one is game over. repeat every 5 minutes indefinitely. So I have a MIM file that is located in the temp directory, and which executes a mimicat command that dumps passwords to an O file located in the temp directory. So I'm going to the temp directory so that I can be able to see what's happening with the temp directory. The files that are in the temp directory, these are the files. So I have a MIM file. I have above them netcat. So netcat is a PowerShell script that enables the attacker to listen on port 1348, which is a multimedia conferencing port. So scheduled task backdoor, EDWMI backdoor. So I am going to right click and click on Edit to open the PowerShell script that I believe has created those two scheduled tasks. And this is the PowerShell script. So I'm going to start with the one for the win. So the attacker has created this WMI backdoor, the WMI backdoor script. The attacker has is running the script from the command line and specifying values in the command. And there are actions that the WMI backdoor is performing. And one of them is that it's launching beaconing backdoor. And the other action that it's carrying out is that it's killing a certain process. So I want to know which process is being killed by WMI backdoor. And I am going to do that by opening Locky output. I'll dive deep into it. I'm going to scroll down to the warning. So you see the first warning is about event filter, and the warning is on the timer. And the second warning also on event filter. The name of the filter is process start trigger. And this is the one that is stopping, it's stopping the process explorer.exe. So this is the process that is being killed by WMI backdoor. And once you go to the filter internal suite, these are provided to us by the author of the room. So if you go try opening Process Explorer 6.4, which is responsible for releasing Process Explorer that are running, you see, once you try opening it, it's not going to open. Reason being, it's been killed by the WMI backdoor. So thank you so much. I'm going to stop at that point. Thank you for your time. We appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. Thank you.
Can we have the next group, please?
Hello. Hello, my name is Anyetin Fonbo, and I'm here with my colleagues, my Taba sisters, Grace, Danisha, and Iponkin Godwin, and we are presenting on a topic that says how to analyze malware using sandbox. At this point, I'll be handing over to Iponkin Godwin.
Thank you very much, Inyete. So I'm going to be defining some of the terms that we are going to use in today's presentation. And the first is Kali Linux. Kali Linux is an open source Linux-based distribution that is used in penetration testing, forensic analysis, and information security. Two is a VirtualBox. A VirtualBox is an open source virtualization software that helps extend our computer system to run multiple operating systems at the same time. The three is malware. Malware is any software that is built or designed to disrupt or gain unauthorized access to our computer system. The sample that we are using today is called AnyRun. AnyRun is an online malware interactive software services that can be used to analyze malware. Then finally is PowerShell. PowerShell is a task automation and configuration management that consists command lines and scripting languages. The reason we choose a VirtualBox and a Kali Linux for the presentation is because you cannot analyze a malware using your own Windows operating system, because in the process of downloading the malware, it can disrupt your operating system. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague Grace for the demo.
Okay, thank you, Fonke. So as she said, we're going to be using the AnyRun online sandbox platform to analyze our malware. So the first thing you need to know is that before you can use this platform, you need to have an account. So when you create an account and then you sign in, then this is the first page that you see. So when you see this page, you don't need to go anywhere else. All you have to click on is Let's Hunt. Now, when you click on Let's Hunt, it will take you to this interactive page where you can finally upload the kind of files that you want to check for malicious activities. So I click on Upload, and then I'm able to upload the kind of file that I want to inspect, and then I click on Run a Public Task. Now, for the sake of time, I've already uploaded the kind of file that I want to check. It's a Word document. So I uploaded it, and then I ran the public task, and then it's opened it on Windows 7 simulation. So if this was my typical screen or my typical machine, if I open this Word document, this is what I'll see. Now, down here, you see that there's some kind of flags that have been raised. So what you need to know is that if this file, this document didn't have any malicious activity going on in the background, though this place will be blank, and all you see is that this place is blank and there's a no data highlighted here. However, we can see that some certain flags have been raised. You can see that by opening this file, what happens is in the background is that it has made 4 HTTP requests, 6 connections, and then 5 DNS requests. So that can tell you that there's some suspicious activity going on in the background. But to see more detail into what's going on in the background, we come to this pane where my mouse is hovering over. It tells you the name of the file that you are analyzing, and then it even gives you information on the virus that is associated with the file. So when I click on it, it will take me to a page that gives me detailed information on the kind of malware that I'm dealing with. So I come over here, and this winware.exe section tells me the behavior of the document that I've opened. But what I'm concerned with is the PowerShell command that is happening at the background. So I click on the PowerShell.exe tab, and then it shows me the command line interface that is happening at the background. So when I open the file, this all this code is executed. Now, what does this code do? So in order to find out, I copy all of this onto my text editor, and then I copy all of this onto my terminal. Now, I've already copied it for the sake of time. So when I copy it, I just type in the base 64 decode command, and then I click on enter, and then it tells me, it shows me the decoded document. So now all I have to do is that I have to copy all of this onto another online platform called CyberGirls, which will help me to see the kind of connections that have been made when the document is running on my computer. So then I click on URLs, and then I click on extract URLs, then I click on display total. When I do that, it tells me that, okay, this document, when you opened it, it made connections to 4 websites, which from which it will download the Emotet virus onto my system. So when it makes connections to these websites, it downloads and installs the virus on my system, and then this virus proceeds to infect my system and then install other malware. So all this gibberish here is just a command to download an executable file from internet sites. So how you can tell that it's a download command is by looking out for these keywords, and then this one, looking out for this one, looking out for this one, and then looking out for the .exe that is over here. So all this is just a command to download an executable, and install an executable file from some malicious websites. Now, is sandboxing the end all and be all of keeping your system safe? No, it's actually not. So even though you can perform sandboxing to analyze your malware, there are some malware that are so advanced that they have advanced persistent and evasion mechanism, in that they can detect if they're in a virtual machine or in a sandbox. And then when they realize they're in a sandbox, they change their functionality so they can throw the research off. So it's good to do sandboxing to keep your system safe, but you need to put other systems in place to ensure that you're completely safe. Thank you, and we are open for questions.
Thank you very much. Can the next team step up, please?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Peace from Ping Intelligence 3. Our topic is detecting torrent files and image files using Splunk. Over to you, Paula.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paula Manye Hezwa, and I'm a member of Ping Intelligence 3.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sylvia, and I'm a member of Ping Intelligence 3. Over to you, Ala.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Ala Musa from Ping Intelligence 3, and today we'll be taking you on a demo for detecting packets of torrent and image with Snort. So Snort is an application by Cisco Talos that helps network users to detect traffic that's going into and out from their network to help them see if there is any malicious or malware packets in there. So Snort detects packets that are stored in PCAP files. PCAP files stands for packet capture files, which can be generated using any snooping applications such as Wireshark. So today we'll be testing out two different types of PCAP files, PNG files, which are image files, and torrent files, which are user-to-user packets that can store any type of files. And then over to you, Sylvia, for the demo.
So hi, everyone. I'm going to start with this file, which is a local.rules file. This file helps you to analyze the pickup file. So I'm going to explain a bit about the rules. So for example, here we have this rule that starts with alert. Alert is the action of the rule. TCP is a protocol that is being used for the transmission of the pickup file. This N stands for the source IP. This N stands for the source port. This means bidirectional. So it means that the rule will check both sides to see if there was a pickup transmitted both sides. This N is a destination IP. And
Sylvia, kindly share your screen.
Hello.
We can see it.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll start again. This is our local.rules file. It has our rule here. Alert is the action of the rule. TCP is a protocol that was used to transmit the packet file. This N is a source IP. This N is the source port. Then this means that it will check both sides. This N is a destination IP, and this is a destination port. Then the message to be displayed is PNG file found, and the content, which is a unique identifier of the PNG, is what is given here. So let me go ahead and show you how we're going to do this. So first, I go into our downloads folder, which has our pickup files, as you can see here. Then I run the command snort -c. This C calls the local rules folder, the local rules file that I just showed you. And because we are first working with the PNG file, I'm going to call the PNG file. So as you can see here, there's a lot of output, but the most important part is the alerts part. And here you can see we have one alert. So that means the command has detected one PNG. So I'm going to run this command snort -e -r so that we are able to dump a log file and see exactly what is in that PNG. So here you can see the there's a source IP and the source port, and the destination IP and the destination port. And this is the name of the PNG file that was just detected. Then I'll go ahead and edit our local role file so that I'm able to use the torrent role. Then I'll go ahead and run the same command, the slot -c command, but change this part to reference the torrent pickup file. And as you can see here, we have 2 alerts for torrents. And then now I want to show what is under the downloads folder so that I'm sure which log file was just generated from that command. And it's this log file. So I run the same command, snort -e -r. To show you exactly what the torrent files were. And as you can see here, there's a source IP address in the source port and the destination IP address in the destination port. There's also here, because we got 2 alerts, there's also a source IP address in the source port and a destination IP address in the destination port. And as you can see, the users were using BitTorrent to do the transfer of the packets. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.
So, like Sylvia said, it's not like Allah actually mentioned, it's not is an intrusion prevention system. It helps us to detect files, both any type of files at all, and then it helps to drop a malicious packets. So I want to say a big thank you to Coach Adamu for helping us throughout the session, and also opportunity given to us by CyberSafe Foundation. We say thank you for the opportunity, and also shout out to our project coordinator, I want to say thank you to Divine CS, Abisoye. Thank you so much to know our CyberSafe successor, advisor. Thank you so much for the
Okay, thank you very much. That's a nice presentation. Okay, so can the next team get ready? That's Ping Intelligence 14.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Manuela Kibigazi, and I'm from Ping Intelligence 14. And our topic is how to perform memory forensic analysis with volatility. So basically, memory forensic is the analysis of volatile data in a computer memory dump. And the memory dump is what contains all information contents in the RAM. Volatility, on the other hand, is a RAM analysis tool used from the command line. For a computer, a lot of processes run in memory that is written to disk. And if you want to extract those processes, we need volatility to help us do that. So for this project, we use the forensic toolkit, which captures all activity on the PC. We use the Python IDE and the volatility framework. So I'll hand over to Esther, who will take us through the demonstration. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Esther. So we use the FTK imager. And first of all, we're going to capture the memory. We'll go to File, and we capture the memory. We'll select the destination, the path destination. So we'll go to the desktop. I will change the name to what we can remember. So right now it's capturing all the memory, and it's going to take quite some time. Okay, while we wait, we already have Can you see my screen now? We have to open up our command prompts. So this shows the current directory we're working on. Then we'll have to cd inside the desktop. So right now for the image that we've created, it's going to show us it's scanning the info, the Windows info. So it's going to take a while. Please just wait while it scans. Okay, this is taking much of our time. After it scans, you're going to see the system time, the time we did the capture of memory. You're going to see all the infos, the Windows infos. You're going to see everything. Thank you very much.
Okay, since you're still demonstrating, we're going to give you some 2 minutes to see if your screen will load. So you still have 2 minutes more.
Okay.
And the next team, get ready, please. Code Brigade 3. Intelligence 40, you're not sharing your screen. So, okay. The next team will take over. Then that's Code Brigade 3. Thank you very much.
Hello. Hello, Maduna. I don't know what is wrong with my system. It just keeps popping up shells and it is hanging. I don't know what to do. I think my system will crash. I don't know.
Calm down, Sonia. I'm sure your system has been hacked by an outsider and a malicious malware is affecting the system.
Oh my God.
Do not worry. But do not worry. We'll be able to investigate it.
Investigate it? Are you a police officer?
Of course not, but I am a trained cyber girl and we've been trained to investigate issues like this. So do not worry, your computer is in safe hands. I'll look at it.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Janetta Oku, and this is Code Brigade 3. Presenting with me on the topic how to investigate a hacked Windows using PowerShell are Sonia Orobedo and Bado Madonna. Please enjoy. Over to you, Madonna.
Thank you very much, Jeanette. So here we have a hacked Windows system, and we would like to investigate the problem using PowerShell. First of all, what is PowerShell? PowerShell is a .NET-based Windows shell framework that is just like our command prompt. You can use it to get back-end access to your system, and it is also a Microsoft management infrastructure. Now, this is our PowerShell command. The first command we are going to put into it is system info. Now, this system info would help us know the system specification, the version and year of the Windows machine, and just to know what we are dealing with generally. As you can see on the screen, the command has been put in and all the specifications of the Windows system are shown, including the processors, the RAM, and everything about the Windows system we're investigating. The next thing we want to do is put in the command outlet to get local user. Now, getting this local user is important to know the person that last logged on into the system so that we can be able to streamline who was responsible for this attack and to know when the compromise took place. If you look at our screen, you would see the person that was last logged on, which is Jenny and John. You can also see date and time. Over to you, Sonia.
Well done, Madonna. Thank you so much. Now that we know the last users that logged into the system, the next important thing we need to look for is to know the users with administrative privileges so that we'll be able to know the people that had access, administrative access into the system that can actually add programs that could be causing issues in our computer. And to do that, we use our commandlet, the PowerShell commandlet, which is get local group members, safe group, and administrator. Now, let's connect back to our system. So the administrative privilege will show us that we have, okay, you're trying to open it, thank you. Now, the users with administrative privilege are the only ones who can add programs that could be causing issues to this computer. So after that, the next thing we need to check is if there is a malicious scheduled task running on our system so that we can be able to identify if there is a malicious file. Sorry, our network is bad. We're trying to get a hold of it.
I'm so sorry, guys. This should work very soon. So it should be reconnecting in a few seconds. I'm so sorry for the delay. Oh my God. Happening. Oh my God. I don't know, is it possible for you to connect to your laptop? Because, wow.
Okay, so while they're trying to figure out their issues, can we have the next group up, please?
Okay.
The next group should be back question 5. So Ping Intelligence,
Good morning.
please, you should be ready to present after this group. Okay, Back Intelligence, back questions 5, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, my name is Priscilla Yamwa from Ghana. And on behalf of Back Squashes 5, I'd like to welcome you all to our open day. Our topic for discussion is investigating Microsoft Office macro malware events with Splunk.
How?
My team member, Beloved, will be taking us through the demonstration. But first, I'll take us through the meaning of Splunk. Splunk is an advanced, scalable, and effective technology that indexes and searches log files stored in a system. It also analyzes the machine-generated data to provide operational intelligence. So my team member Beloved will be using this tool to analyze the log indices. Over to you, Beloved.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. So today we are faced with a scenario where a company is experiencing a downtime in their OneDrive, and we already know that files that are uploaded to OneDrive are Microsoft Office files. So we use our index bots to start our search. Index bots is a repository of data set which will yield other data results for our search. And we'll start with that. And here we'll set our time here to all time so that, because we don't know when exactly the event occurred, so we'll set that to all time to get best results. And then we do our search. Now, knowing fully well that it was a Microsoft file that was uploaded, we streamline our search to include that it was a Microsoft file. Sorry, I have network issues. This will give us a series of events that happened around the timeline we've used. Let's go. Going on. Okay. Wow. Okay, sorry, our time here had, since I reloaded the page, it's changed to 24 hours instead of all time. That's why we're not getting our results. And now it gives us 1,073 events that happened around the operation time. To further streamline our queries, we'll go to workload. We'll check in the workload. The workload management is used to schedule tasks and activities among staffs. And so to be able to know what file was uploaded to OneDrive, we check in our workload. And this streamlines our event from 8,073 to 829 events. Still, that is too much for our search. We still streamline our query to operations. What are the files that are uploaded during the operation hours? And here we can have file access, file previewed, file modified, file uploaded, and we click on file uploaded. From 8,073 events, we have 7 events here. And then what we look for now are abnormal file extensions that were uploaded during that period. And if we scan through this log that has been given to us, several log that has been given to us, we'll find the file extension here called LNK, is an abnormal log file, because, and then here we have our user agent to be able to identify that. Now to further carry out our investigation, we know that the link was sent through an email to the staff that uploaded the file. So we'll streamline our search to reflect, email protocols, SMTP. And this gives us 879 events, which is much, like it's so much. But we have to still streamline. When there's a file that has been uploaded, a wrong file that has been uploaded, a macro-enabled file that has been uploaded, there'll always be an alert, malware alert flagged. And so we'll attach that to our query to see what we can get around that protocol. And here from 829 events, we have 3 events left. Now we scan through these events that has been provided for us, and we check for attached file name. What was the file name that was uploaded? And we'll see that here we have malware alert text, just one. Only one file has been detected to be macro enabled. We'll click on that and we'll see what we can get. This is the several results that we have, but we'll not be able to read this because we don't have the full details. So all we have to do is to ask the server to show us these results in raw. This is just the raw format. We'll not be able to decode everything we want here, but we scan through it carefully to find what we can pick and which which result is tagged macro enabled. We can see here here's the financial model used for this, and you need to use macro enable. We state that this was the file that was uploaded, and we have here malware alerts, which shows that yes, we're on the right document. Now to get this to plain text, to see what exactly was uploaded, we'll have to decode using our base 64. So what we do is to copy this link and we'll copy this link and we use base 64 to decode it. Then the link we had copied from the other page, we'll just paste it here to decode and give us in plain text what exactly this means, what exactly this result means. And we come here and click decode. And now this file that we had decoded has given us this result in plain text, stating that a malware was detected in one or more attachments, inclusive of this, and it was a financial planning report that had been uploaded. Practically, the staff had one way or the other had his system attacked, and then a malicious link was sent. So when he was uploading this file, he clicked on that macro-enabled document, which deployed all what caused the downtime the company is experiencing. And with this, we have come to the end of our investigation because we've been able to determine what the results, the document was, who the user agent was, and what file was uploaded.
Is our time up yet?
Yes, your
I would
time.
like. Oh, okay.
We have.
But we'd like to say thank you to Cyber Safe Foundation for giving us this opportunity to be able to do things like this on our own. And we know that this is just the basics of what we can do. With time, we'll get better. Thank you very much. And thank you, my teammates.
Thank you, David.
Okay, so we'll have Incognito 5 present now.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Victoria, and I'm a member of 5. Here with my teammates, Chimezuri and Sharon. So we're doing a presentation on the topic, how to track Log4j vulnerability business. Log4j is an open source software. Now, open source software are codes that have been developed by different programmers. This allows in-house programmers to integrate these codes to the application, as to say, starting this code from scratch. Now, this service online Breakout, I work as tuitions. So I'll be handing over to my teammate Chimezuri to continue the presentation.
All right, thank you, Victoria. Thank you very much. So as she had said, we would be detecting Log4j vulnerability using Snuff. Now, Snuff is a rule-based network, and this means that it uses a series of rules to find packets. And so because I'll be using Windows to demonstrate, I would like to just highlight a few things that one has to change, in using Windows to detect or prevent using Snuff. So the first thing I would like to highlight rather is that in using Windows, one has to ensure that the slashes are forward slashed and not backward slashed. I'll give an instance. These are backward slashes. It ought to be forward slashes. And also in using Windows, we need to create white list rules. So I'll give an instance as well. So that's by creating a new file folder. I'll save it, and then I'm supposed to write white underscore list dot rules. And also, as you can see, I already have this on saved in my document, and also ensure that the document is saved under all files and not text documents. So I'm also supposed to create the same new file for black underscore list dot rules, but because of time I won't be able to do that. Now, Snuff also has modes, and what does that mean? It simply means that it does series of things using the three kinds of modes it has. We have the sniffer mode, and the sniffer mode simply entails that it uses snoth to find IP packets. So I would demonstrate this right now. So these are the commands: cd, cd snoth, and it's not document now, so cd bin. Now, to verify if snoth has been successfully installed into our system, what we'll do is we'll put snoth space and then hyphen capital V. And so this shows that snoth has been successfully installed into our system. Now, to sniff IP packets on our network, what we'll do is use certain commands as well. Now, there are two commands that are used for this. So the first command that I would like to demonstrate is snoth. So it's running. I'll have to stop that from running so that I can demonstrate. As you can see, it has successfully run some packets for us. So we can see this, for instance. And the second command I would like to demonstrate is so it will give us the same results simply because it's the same command. Thank you very much. I would like to hand over to Sharon, please. Thank you.
Yes, so I'll be demonstrating how Snoth operates in the other modes, that is packet logging mode and IDS and IPS. Chinedu, will just stop sharing so that I'm able to share my screen. Okay, so I've already navigated to the Snoth bin folder. So first, I will also just confirm if my Snoth is, we use the same rules configurations. I'm just going to confirm if the rules are okay. We are using Snoth I to detect the interface and then pointing to the Snoth directory. So the Snoth has been successful. The rules are successfully installed. So to demonstrate Snoth in packing logging mode, we're going to use the following command: Snoth L detects denotes the logging command, and then basically the difference between packet logging and the other mode is that the logging command is able to save the results in a directory that you're able to specify in your command. So we can make a directory. Let's call it for the sake of time, I already created a directory in my name. So when you want to do that configuration,
Sharon, you're not really audible. Can you try talk a bit louder?
Hear me? Yes. So I'm saying you create a directory, and then you can specify while writing the command. And then let's just confirm my IP address. And then there's not a full configuration folder. So yes, our snot is able to operate in packet logging mode. And so when you want to detect log4j, the good thing about this cybersecurity community is once there is a fault, most of these solutions are pasted online. So I just got the rules to detect log4j vulnerabilities online from cyber attackers community, and then you just download it, and then you will come here to the snot folder. So what you do is you create a folder in snot, and you can just name it so I'm just going to save this. Snot.rules, all text, save it, and then you can copy paste the rules that you downloaded from the online platform. After you have created that rule, you'll also need to go to your snot folder again to change the configuration file to be able to read that rule. So you open your configuration file as I have done. Open your configuration file and go to the specific rules line, and then you just include another path. I'm just going to do it on the first line for the sake of time. Change your rules to, you change it to the name of the file of the rules that you specified in your folder here. So I named it snot.rules. So that's what I'm.
Please wrap up, please. Time's up.
Okay. Snot.rules. So basically that's it. And then you'll save your file. And then you can, when you go back to your command prompts, you will use the same command that we used for for the IDS IPS mode, which was this. And then when you run it, it will be able to detect the new rules that you have set in your configuration rules. So basically, to detect the log4j nodes, you use the configuration for IDS IPS. Thank you very much.
Okay, can Code Brigade 3 come up? You have 5 minutes. Since you already started, just pick up from where you left off. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Sorry for the break in transmission. It was because of unforeseen network issues. Now, as you can see on our screen, we've already gotten the last logged on of users. So the next thing we need to do is to know the users with administrative privileges so that we are able to ascertain who had administrative access to add those programs that are causing issues in the computer. And to do this, we navigate through our PowerShell command, get schedule task, where object equals ready. As you can see, all the schedule tasks in our screen on our hacked system are ready. And they are so much, but you would notice that there are 5 file paths that doesn't have a path. That schedule task 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are 5 paths that doesn't have any path at all. So the next thing we need to do is to specify to those 5 paths, those without 5 paths, those task schedules without 5 paths, so that we are able to investigate it and see if there is a malicious software there, because having no path at all is an indication that it's malicious. So over to you, Janet.
Thank you, Sonia, for that wonderful explanation. So now, after filtering through the task scheduler, we see a list of programs being run. Now, the first thing that catches our attention is Clean File System. And there's no way Sonia would install Clean File System as a program on her computer, because that means you're basically formatting the digs. And I'm sure Sonia doesn't want that. So we are going to go inside Clean File System to see what's happening in there. Now, when you enter Clean File System, the first argument in there is 1348. Now, 1348 is the local port that this particular file is listening to. Now, a local port is a type of forwarding port. It lets a user connect a local computer to another server and then forward data. Now, if you're an attacker, this would be a great tool for you. And we both know Sonia did not install this. And then we see in execute, we see this netcat program being run. Now, a netcat program, it basically allows you to monitor and manage traffic control between systems, right? Now, this means that every time Sonia boots her computer, this program is running. Now, we need to know what is inside this particular malicious program. As you can see, there are certain shells that keep trying to pop up, right? This alone should tell you that the system has been hacked. I'm so sorry, it seems there's a problem with my code. Okay, so now, after we get, I spelled item wrong, I'm so sorry. So after we get child item, we can see a list of programs listed out. Now in these programs, we are going to look at mem out for an example. So set get contents. Again, it keeps popping up. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but then when we first logged there, every time command prompt pops up, there's this weird image on it. And you can see this is the exact same image that's being run here. Now, when you look at the log, at the banner here, it says Mimikatz 2.0 alpha. Now, Mimikatz 2.0 is a credential dumping tool. It basically allows attackers to get the credentials on a computer. Now, this was what was used to get the password to Sonia's computer. The next thing we are going to do is to check the time that this program was installed. In finding the time this program was installed, we get to know who it is that installed this malicious program on Sonia's computer. Now, we can see that this program was installed on 2nd March 2019, and the only person that had access to Sonia's computer was John, and he has administrative privileges. So far, we've checked the system information, we've checked the system login, we've checked people that have, we've checked the number of users on the system, we've checked those who have administrator privileges, we've checked the number of tasks running on the program, and then we found the malicious code inside it. So far, we have investigated Windows using PowerShell. Now, the next step, this process is helpful in the next step where you find solutions to Sonia's hacking problem. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation. This is the end.
Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you for your presentations. Thank you for your time. So right now we're going to introduce or bring our judge on board. We'll have our lovely judge join us to give some feedbacks to our presenters. Our judge is Miss Ife.
Okay, hello everyone. Am I audible enough for everyone?
Yes, you are.
Yes. So first up, I want to give great kudos to all the girls. I think you guys really did so well in information across. It was really good. So from my perspective, I'm going to say that with regards to the various presentations, I'll just give like my overall point of view on certain things. So when you were explaining certain terms, that's for the different groups, right? I understand that, you know, it's still the beginning and it's fine, but most times the simple explanations are actually the best because you never really know who you're speaking to in the crowd. So as simple as you can, just try to explain different terms in simple forms, not necessarily like what you've read off Google, but what you understand it to be. So I'm able to better understand what you know and then understand where you're still trying to build on. Then let's see here. So due to the network issues that a lot of you guys had, I would advise that probably it's always good to have like an alternative. So if you have like a pre-recorded presentation of what you're doing, or have like the artifacts, say screenshots, or in your Kali, you can have like tabs that are already open with the commands already run. That would also be useful just so that the flow is easier for the team and you don't have to rush. And that's also another thing. I understand the time constraints, but also time management is very important when you're doing presentations. And I'm very sure that as time goes on, everyone will get better with that. You guys really did well with the presentations. Okay, I think we're supposed to head back, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how many minutes do I have?
We have 2 minutes more to just wrap up, and then we'll join the main meeting. Hello, Miss Ife. Okay, she's back.
Yeah. So still try to explain what you were planning to do even when you have any issues with your presentation. It helps you to kind of fill your time and use it well to pass across the information you need to. And secondly, I feel quality over quantity is always very important because it's not necessarily about, in as much as you want to cover everything, the main thing is to cover what you can and explain it well enough so that regardless of what you can complete or not, you're able to pass across your information properly. But overall, really good job to you girls. And yeah, I hope to see many more coming from you all.
Okay, thank you very much, our wonderful judge. Ladies, I hope you picked a few things from what she said. Because our time is fast spent, please head back to the main meeting room for us to continue with the open day programs. Thank you very much.
Most girls are taught to avoid risk and failure. They're taught to smile pretty, play it safe, get all A's. Boys, on the other hand, are taught to play rough, swing high, crawl to the top of the monkey bars, and then just jump off head first. And by the time they're adults, and whether they're negotiating a raise or even asking someone out on a date, they're habituated to take risk after risk. They're rewarded for it. It's often said in Silicon Valley, no one even takes you seriously unless you've had 2 failed startups. In other words, we're raising our girls to be perfect, and we're raising our boys to be brave. Some people worry about our federal deficit, but I worry about our bravery deficit. Our economy, our society, we're just losing out because we're not raising our girls to be brave. The bravery deficit is why women are underrepresented in STEM, in C-suites, in boardrooms, in Congress, and pretty much everywhere you look. In the 1980s, psychologist Carol Dweck looked at how bright 5th graders handled an assignment that was too difficult for them. She found that bright girls were quick to give up. The higher the IQ, the more likely they were to give up. Bright boys, on the other hand, found the difficult material to be a challenge. They found it energizing. They were more likely to redouble their efforts. What's going on? Well, at the 5th grade level, girls routinely outperform boys in every subject, including math and science. So it's not a question of ability. The difference is in how boys and girls approach a challenge. And it doesn't just end in 5th grade. An HP report found that men will apply for a job if they meet only 60% of the qualifications. But women? Women will apply only if they meet 100% of the qualifications. 100%. This study is usually invoked as evidence that, well, women need a little more confidence. But I think it's evidence that women have been socialized to aspire to perfection, and they're overly cautious. And even when we're ambitious, even when we're leaning in, that socialization of perfection has caused us to take less risks in our careers. And so those 600,000 jobs that are open right now in computing and tech, women are being left behind. And it means our economy is being left behind on all the innovation and problems women would solve if they were socialized to be brave instead of socialized to be perfect. So in 2012, I started a company to teach girls to code. And what I found is that by teaching them to code, I had socialized them to be brave. Coding, it's an endless process of trial and error, of trying to get the right command in the right place, with sometimes just a semicolon, making the difference between success and failure. Code breaks, and then it falls apart, and it often takes many, many tries till that magical moment when what you're trying to build comes to life. It requires perseverance. It requires imperfection. We immediately see in our program our girls' fear of not getting it right, of not being perfect. Every Girls Who Code teacher tells me the same story. During the first week, when the girls are learning how to code, a student will call her over and she'll say, "I don't know what code to write." The teacher will look at her screen and she'll see a blank text editor. If she didn't know any better, she'll think that her student spent the past 20 minutes just staring at the screen. But if she presses undo a few times, she'll see that her student wrote code and then deleted it. She tried, she came close, but she didn't get it exactly right. Instead of showing the progress that she made, she rather showed nothing at all. Perfection or bust. It turns out that our girls are really good at coding, but it's not enough just to teach them to code. My friend Lev Brie, who's a professor at the University of Columbia and teaches Intro to Java, tells me about his office hours.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second half of the breakout room. Can we have Code Brigade 5 get ready, please? We have members in Code Brigade 5 available.
Yes, we're available.
Okay, so we're going to start, not to take much of your time. Members of Code Brigade can start their presentation now. Thank you.
All right.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gracia, and with me are my peer sisters, Odunala, Blessings, and Linia, and we're from Code Brigade 5. Our topic of discussion is how to use Redline to perform memory analysis and to scan for IOCs using endpoint. I'll hand it over to Blessings. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Gracia. Now, moving over to our topic, memory analysis. I would like to define some terms. What is memory analysis? Memory analysis is the process of capturing the running memory of a device and then analyzing that memory that has been captured in order to look for malicious artifact or in order to find out the activities that has been running and the processes that has been running on that particular device. Now, memory analysis is a very important tool in threat intelligence because some malicious softwares can hide in your system, but whenever they are running with a proper memory analysis, you'll be able to detect the running processes in that device and be able to detect those malware that are hiding in the memory of a computer system. Now, what is an endpoint? Because we are doing this memory analysis on an endpoint. An endpoint is simply a user device that is connected to network. Now, a user device could be a laptop or your phone that is connected to a network. So that is an endpoint. Why do we conduct memory analysis? We conduct memory analysis because we want to find out malicious artifacts or the activities running in a system in order to know what's going on there so that we can mitigate or take actions to prevent it from escalating. Now, what tools do we use to conduct memory analysis? We use various tools such as volatility or Redline, but for the purpose of this demo, we are going to use Redline. Redline is a graphic user interface tool for conducting memory analysis or memory forensics. So for the purpose of this demo, we are going to be doing this on a virtual environment. Now, why are we doing it in a virtual environment? A virtual environment is we may be working with some files that contain some malicious artifact, and we don't want it to infect our host system. So we are going to use a virtual environment. How do you set up your virtual environment? First, you download the VirtualBox and VirtualBox extension. Once you set it up, you will see what is on our screen, and then you download the Windows ISO image, which is the for Windows 10, which is the operating system that we are going to be using for this analysis. And then you load it up and you will see something like this. We named ours Windows 10 VM. You can name yours anything. So once you set it up, you now go ahead to download the Redline, which is the tool we are going to use for this analysis. So once you download your Redline, you install it and set it up, you have something like this. So you now go ahead and start your analysis. Over to you, Otunola.
Thank you, Blessing. So now we'll go ahead and analyze a saved memory file on our computer. And what is a memory dump, basically? A memory dump is like capturing what is happening in a computer at a particular point in time. We can use tools like Dump It and Autopsy. So now we'll navigate to where the file is saved on our computer to analyze.
Okay, so now we'll come to edit your script and ensure that strings is checked in process listing and drivers enumeration, just so we can see all the activities running on the computers at the time the memory was dumped. Okay, so now we can rename the analysis. Then, okay. So now it's currently analyzing. And this will take a couple of minutes. So what we'll do is that we'll just go and launch one we've already analyzed just so we can kill some time. So once it's done analyzing, to bring us to this page, so we'll go to processes. All right, so we'll go to so now it's going to bring us to the timeline. And now we can see that this entire memory dump started 8:29 to about, I think, 8:31. So this entire memory dump is about for 2 minutes. So now we'll go to the processes and see what activities were running on this computer as I time memory was dumped. So we'll check explorer.exe and let's see if we can see who the user was, what they were using, what they were doing as at that time. So we'll try and search for user if we can find the user. Okay, so we have a result. So we can see that the user's name is hello. And scrolling down, let's see if we can see some things they were doing at the time. We can see that Windows Media Player is running. So we can assume the user was probably listening to music. So the next thing we'll check is for duplicates. With this process, we can see that there are no duplicates, but there are some processes that do have duplicates in this memory dump. And the reason to check for duplicates is that for this example, this dmw.exe has duplicates, and it's to ensure that there is no malicious process that is trying to imitate a legitimate process. In that case, we have to make sure to verify that the PID, which is the port ID, and the path are similar for both processes, just so to ensure that it is the same process. Then we will go to strings. There are some strings that are attached to malicious processes, and the string is called @mz. So we'll just search that and see if that string is here. It's currently searching. Now we can see that there are no matches found, so we can assume that there are no malicious strings in this memory dump. We'll then go ahead to ports to check for what is going on in the ports. So with the ports, we can see that there are a couple of ports running on this memory dump, and we can see that they are all listening. And what listening means is that they are open to connection, although there is no established communication. But it is really important to ensure that any port that is not being used by your local network is disconnected and closed. And in a case that it is there's an established communication, you have to ensure that the remote IP address connected to that port is within your local network. If it isn't, then mitigations have to be put in place. I'll be handing over to Linia. Thank you.
My name is Linia, and I'll go straight to hierarchical processes. So this basically means that processes have a parent-child relationship with them. And in order for us to detect an anomaly, we will look for things such as the wrong parent-child relationship, the wrong execution path, the wrong extension, or a misspelling on the process names. So let's go straight to look at some basic process that exist in this memory dump. The first one is SMSS, which is responsible for managing sessions. Here we can see that its path is system root system 32, which is a legitimate system path. And when we scroll, we go to the parent, we can see that the parent is system, which is legitimate. Next, we'll go to dump it. As Odunola said before, that dump it was used to analyze this memory. So we can see here that the process was running at that time. The next part we're going to look at is WinInit. WinInit is a process that manages processes and handles. And the last part we're going to look at is WinLogon, which is responsible for managing user login and user logout. Next, we're going to look at hooks. So hooks is a mechanism in which an application is able to intercept the events such as mouse clickings, keystrokes, and specifically here we're going to look at the IRP hooks. IRP stands for input-output request packets, and basically malware such as rootkits can attach themselves into the kernel of an operating system, and this will make it very hard to detect, and it will hence increase its space its lifetime in the operating system. So with this memory dump, we have no malware, but I'm going to show you an example of a memory dump that has an existing malware in the rootkit. And here, as you can see my screen, this is an example of a malware that had a memory dump that had a malware, and it was flagged red by the Redline app. So in case we had a memory dump that had malware in it, we could have known. But as of now, the memory dump we have doesn't have malware. So I'll hand it over to Blessing.
Thank you very much, Linia. So to wrap up, a practical example of where you can conduct a memory analysis is in an organization, for example, where you are able to trace a malicious activity down to a particular device. So you can take the memory dump of that device and then take the memory dump of that device and conduct a memory analysis to find out what is happening in that device. So for this one, we were able to find out that the user's name is Hello, and he was playing music as of that time, and there are no malicious artifacts found. So it is safe to know that you can conduct a memory analysis without finding any malicious artifact, just like we did now. And if you find any malicious artifact, you now take measures in order to stop it from escalating. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much. We hope you've been able to learn from us. From all of us in Code Brigade 5, we'll say a very big thank you.
Thank you too for your presentation. The next team to go will be Code Brigade 7, Esmanda and Chiamaka.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Esmeda Zimba. I'm from Zambia, and the topic that I'll be representing today is investigating rebel ransomware using FireEye. So let me share my screen. Okay, so before I go any further, ransomware is a malware that is designed to deny access to a user organization's computer or files on their computer. And it does this by encrypting it and then sending out a demand. And so in order for us to investigate, we're going to use Redline. So Redline is a forensic analysis tool that is designed by FireEye. So as in incident response, the first thing that we're going to think about is how a laptop or a device is infected. So what I'm going to jump to first is browser history or browser downloads, because I know that's how most infections occur. So I'm going to go straight into the file download history. From this file download history, I've already noticed that there is a red flag right here. If we see here, this file was downloaded from an HTTP site. It's initially a website that's not secured, so the data is not encrypted. What that means is that any third-party people can actually intercept the data. So that's the first red flag. The second red flag is the fact that this was downloaded from a private IP address. If we compare the two, we can see that this was gotten from this website here, but this was gotten from a private IP address, which is very, very suspicious. So this is the file that we're going to pay attention to. So I'm going to look at where this file is located. It's located here. So I'm going to go to the file system. So I'm looking for downloads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncheck the desktop because I don't need that. And I'm going to go to the downloads. So I'm going to look for the file, which is this one right here. And I'm going to look at the MD5. An MD5 is a cryptographic protocol used for authenticating messages. So that's what I'm going to check on by going here. I'm then going to copy this MD5 hash right here. And I am going to go and check on this brilliant tool here called VirusTotal. So VirusTotal is basically a website where you can go and check on your files, your URLs, anything that you're not sure, anything that looks suspicious to you. So I'm going to paste the MD5 hash. And I'm going to search. Whoa, and what we've noticed here is 61 out of 68 antivirus softwares have flagged this as a malicious file. So if we look at the malicious files, we can see this. And they've flagged it, and the label that they've used is Sodinokubi, which is another word, which is another name for the Revel ransomware that we were investigating today. So it's safe to assume that this was the file that caused the infection. And so this was the file that caused the infection. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you. I hope you are able to gain one or two things.
Thank you very much, Esmanda. That was a very wonderful presentation. Next team up will be Code Brigade 6. Can we have their members on, please?
Good day, everyone. This is Code Brigade 6, and I am Samia Sani. And with me are my peers, Anu, Fatma, Wamba, and Rejoice. We are here to investigate a USB attack with Splunk. And we are digital forensic analysts specialized in the recovery, investigation, and analysis of materials found in digital devices. Today, we'll be helping Mallory, a marketing lead who tried to access a PowerPoint file on our system and was greeted with a message claiming that our files have been encrypted and payment has to be made to get the keys. As analysts, it is our goal to investigate the ransomware by attempting to reconstruct the events that led to the system being attacked. And in so doing, we'll be using Splunk, a security information and event management software, generally used for monitoring, searching, and examining machine-generated logs or activities. And this will give us a complete picture of the data written to Mallory's indexes, through what sources and by what devices. And so without further ado, we'll be starting our investigation, and Anu Oluwapo will be taking us through the next step. Over to you, Anu Oluwapo.
Thank you. From our scenario, Mallory reported to us that a PowerPoint presentation on a MacBook got encrypted by ransomware. So we'll run the search using Mallory for the search query. And from there, we get a number of events, which is too much. So we have to narrow these events down. So we go to the selected files area, then look for some hosts. Here we see about 6 hosts. We are going to pick the most likely one, which is Mallory Hair 13. The reason why we think it is Mallory Hair 13 is because Mallory Hair 13, MacBook Hair 13 is a known line of notebook computers developed by Apple, and also a part of our name is Lori. So putting 1 and 1 together, we can say from this explanation that Mallory Hair 13 is the most likely host name. So we go ahead and run the search, and we find about 311 events, so which is still too much. So we already know that what we are looking for is a PowerPoint file. So we are going to add a PowerPoint extension to narrow down our search. So we are going to add a PowerPoint extension to further narrow down our search, where we are going to have limited number of events. So right now we are running the search, and then we get a limited number of events. So this is going to help us narrow down our search. So we get just 7 events here. So we can see from the first event here, we can obviously see from the first event, the PowerPoint file that was encrypted. That's Frotley_marketing_campaign_Q317.pptx.script. Now we have to remember that Mallory came to us that it was a PowerPoint presentation file that was encrypted, but we also have to find other files on our laptop that got encrypted. So we had the crypt extension to find other files that were encrypted. And after we made the search, we found out that there are other files that were encrypted on our system. We found some PDF files, some JPG files while scrolling through our search. Over to you, Fatima.
Thank you very much for that. Now, for us to actually find the malware, we need to look into her files. Now, we had a very aggressive information gathering process, or rather via interviews with Mallory, and we got to understand distinctively that her device name was Mercury Air 13 and her host name was Cute Kitten. Now, for us to generate events that are related to to that host, we need to use Cute Kitten as a keyword. Now, as you can see from the query search, we are going to get almost 6,088 events that are related to Cute Kitten. Now we have to narrow it down. And by this, we will go to the source type and we're going to choose the OS query. As you can see, there is a lot of data going on, or rather there is a lot of events and logs on this specific part. So as we click on it, we are going to see that the event is going to go, or rather one less down. Now for us to narrow it down, we will go to the column path, and as you can see, there are over 100 here. But now, just from our general knowledge about malware, we get to understand, or rather know, that this malware actually target our files. And most often than not, our files are usually stored in the folder, or rather file library. And from this, we are going to choose that specifically. And as you can see, the event logs have gone from 6,087 to actually 36. Now, this is still not enough. And for us to find all the paths, or rather that specific part that houses the malware, we are going to use this highlighted part as a keyword. And to do this, we are going to take away all this, or rather erase this part of the query. We are going to tell Splunk that our host is Cute Kitten, and we are going to make this a keyword by putting double space in the terms of the slash, as you can see from the screen, and remove the library part. What this search is going to do is it is going to give us the exact targeted path of where the malware is housed. Now, for us to get to where the exact path is, we will go to 21 more fields and add the column target path. As you can see, tick, and that means it is going to be part of our search. And from the screen, you can notice that the target path is actually just one. And once I press it, the exact file where the malware is housed is going to be seen. And as you can see, the events are going to come down from 300 to actually 5 events. And if we look at the first event, show as row, we are going to see that there are some hashed files. Now, this is an indication of a breach of data integrity, or rather, this is just showing us a form of data encryption. Now, for us to know more about this specific file, I will copy the highlighted flow. I will copy the highlighted flow of characters, post it into VirusTotal, which is a security company that was created by a Spanish company that services to analyze suspicious files and facilitate real-time the detection of viruses, worms, trojans, and malware content. Over to you, Mwamba.
Okay, thank you very much, Fatma. So my team and I are going to be using VirusTotal, which is basically, as my partner says, a website that is used to analyze malicious links, files, and other data for malicious content. So what we are going to do first is we're going to go on the details of the files. So the files that we found, VirusTotal provides my team and I with the file type. So the file type is basically the programming language in which the ransomware, or the malware in this case, was written in. VirusTotal also provides us with the first time and the last time the malware was seen in the wild, which means the last time it was seen in real world computers. We're going to click on relations as well So VirusTotal also provides us with the relations, meaning it provides us with where this malware was reporting to. In short, the command and control servers that this malware was reporting to after infiltrating and encrypting Mallory's files. So thank you very much. I will now call upon my partner, Rejoice, for the conclusion.
Your mic is muted.
Okay, sorry. Thank you, Amber. In conclusion, the most important use of the Splunk software is basically to detect and analyze anomalies or malicious events and activities within a system automatically without having to check these logs manually on your own. As Mazie Reynolds in her book titled The Art of an Attack said that information is the lifeblood of every operation. We were only able to investigate and analyze this USB attack on our client's device successfully because we were diligent and we persistently sought for this information thoroughly using the Splunk software, which then gave us insights about this ransomware that invaded our client's device. Once again, everyone, this is Code Breakout 6, and this is how to investigate USB attack using Splunk software. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, team. Thank you. Can we have the next team up, please? That would be Code Brigade 8.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Yanko Coletta Mayberg.
And I'm Amanda Flavia.
We are 2 or 5 members of Code Brigade 8, Ajana, Esther Ajana, Teslamant Okalawon, Gesimola Gimini. We'd like to express our gratitude to our coach, Mr. Peter O'Day, for taking us through the topic, our mentor, Ms. Doreen Adio, SA, our sponsors, and all the people we see and those we don't see in the background for giving us this opportunity. Today, we have the absolute pleasure of taking you through how to use Autopsy for forensic analysis on a hard drive.
Before we solve a case together, Coletta and I shall be taking you all through some basics. We are hoping that this guide should help you with using Autopsy in the future. But what is Autopsy? Autopsy is a digital forensics platform and secondary tool that allows you to examine a hard drive or mobile device and recover evidence from it in order to determine what activity transpired on a computer or mobile device. This tool is used by law enforcement, military, and corporate examiners to analyze the contents of files and folders for context search based on regular expressions, for metadata analysis, for recovery of deleted content, and reporting of activities, among other things. But in order to use Autopsy, we need to understand what digital forensics is. I would like to invite Coletta to take us through digital forensics.
Thank you, Amanda. Digital forensics is a branch of forensic science consisting of the recovery, investigation, examination, and analysis of material found in digital devices in relation to cybercrime. But however, who investigates this? We need to understand what a digital forensic analysis is. Now, to begin with, they are the people on the part of the blue team. For those who don't know, this is the defensive role. These individuals are on the right side of the law, but who are they and what do they do? A digital forensic analysis has a primary role associated with collecting, analyzing computer evidence. They may also advise other investigators about the value of digital evidence. In some cases, their job is to find incriminating evidence against the suspect in order for them to be convicted in a court of law. Now I'll hand over to our digital forensic analyst, Esther and Testament, to show you the demonstration. Thank you.
Hi guys, so my name is Esther, and I'll just so that we can you can understand what we are trying to do. I'll paint a brief scenario, and hopefully you get the message. So it is suspected that this computer was used for hacking purposes, although it cannot be tied to a hacking suspect, Shreya. Shreya also goes by the online nickname Silver Prayer, and some of our associates have said that she would sit near a cafe within range of wireless access points where she would then intercept internet traffic in an attempt to get credit card numbers, username, and passwords. It is our intention today to use Autopsy to find any evidence or data that might lead to us proving our suspicion on Sharia, or otherwise known as serial prayer. My colleague Teslimat will take us through the process. Teslimat, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Teslimat, and I shall be your digital forensics analyst today. So to begin with, we have to download the Autopsy software. And by doing this, we have to visit the site autopsy.com, and you download according to the computer specifications. So now let's get our hands dirty. So to save time, we shall select the open case. I've selected the open case, and now you can see the source file over here. So I'm going to go ahead to open the source file. Now it is currently loading the case database. You can see it is updating. So now there are actually a lot of things that we can investigate according to the scenario that Esther took us through. Now I want to pick the case file. Okay, so open, select image. So now you can see it is actually analyzing our data source. Okay, yes, so it is done analyzing. So now the first thing first, I'm going to check the integrity of the file, of the end case file. So I'll click on this data source and over here to metadata to get the MD5 hash of the image. So as you can see, we have our MD5 hash over here. So all I have to do is to copy this hash file over here for record purpose, and I can also screenshot my analysis to back up my reports at the end of the day. So now the next thing for me is to check, okay, how do I distinguish the computer used for this scenario? So I'll go to the operating system information, then click on system. Over here in system, I have the desktop name. Okay, so now I know the name of the computer used, and now I also know the version of the Windows used. Under here, we have Windows and _NT. So I can also go to results by clicking on results. Then I have the computer name also over here and the version name over here. In case I want to copy and paste somewhere, I can always copy over here. Also, the next thing for my analysis is to check the verified users' names. Okay, who are the people that are verified, the users that are verified to use this computer? Okay, for me to know that, I clicked on the operating system user account. And over here, we have the username column, you can see. So under the username column, we have list of names here. As you can see, we have H4, S4N, we have Joshua, we have Kesher, we have Sandia, we have Shreya, we have Siva Priya, we have Suba, we have Srini. Okay, and we can see that we also have the administrator, we have the local service, network service. I am not going to include all this because they are names of the computer. So now I know we have 7 verified users of this computer. Okay, now how do I know the last person to log in into the computer? So now, okay, here is the date accessed. By clicking on the date accessed, I can go through and compare the dates accessed. So now I can see, okay, I have 1205, and by scrolling up, okay, yeah, let's see. So all we have to do is compare. Okay, yes, so I have 37 over here, while I have 11 over here. Okay, so I know, okay, this is the last person to log in into the computer, which was Shiva Priya.
All right, thank you so much, Teslimat. So with the above discoveries, we can conclude that the machine is tied to Shreya, who is otherwise known as Silver Priya, as both identities were found as the users on the computer. Thank you. And by that, she has already proven our suspicions, and we have facts. You know, our suspicions have been backed with facts. Thank you so much for your time. We'd like to again thank our coach. If she's watching, shout out to our coach, and shout out to our mentor too, Miss Doreen Ido. Thank you so much. And this is Code Brigade 8 signing.
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. We'll have our next team go up. That'll be Code Brigade 10. Can members of Code Brigade 10 please start? Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. Good day, Judge. Good day, admins. Good day, CyberGirls. My name is Brenda, and my team is Code Brigade 10. So we'll be presenting on how to perform iPhone mobile forensics and Android mobile forensics. So here with me are my teammates, Twele Lupele Moray and Injury Beako Nobu Chika.
Hey everyone, I'm Nobu Chika from Nigeria. I'll be passing over to Brenda.
Okay, so we'll start by saying explaining what forensics is before we get into the technical part. So forensics is the act of taking text or techniques from pulling artifacts or evidence like call logs, locations from a criminal device or investigations. So we'll also be talking about what mobile forensics is. So mobile forensics is the process of using accepted methods to recover digital evidence or relevant data from a mobile device in a way that will preserve the evidence under forensically sound conditions. And we can extract things like SMS, contacts, apps, GPS locations, emails, deleted informations. I'm sure you can see from the screen with the graphical representation of how we can do mobile investigation. We have to also crack passwords before we do this forensics, while we are doing the forensics, and also extract data. So I'll also be passing on back to Chika to present on this.
Good everyone. I'll be talking on the phases of mobile forensics. That's stages, step by step. The first stage is you identify the purpose of your investigation and the resources required, as that will direct your mind that will give you scope of what to do and direct your mind to the resources you have to use. The second one is you collect data. In this stage, you collect all the information needed, and the third is the preservation aspect of it. You preserve it so that it will not get into the wrong hand, and you examine it. That's the first stage. In this stage, you do a formal interrogation of the evidences you've gathered. The fourth one is analyzing. Here you analyze, do a comprehensive review of everything, all the evidences you have gotten through that stage, and you now document. That's documentation. You provide an official information for record purpose. And finally, you present. In presentation, you give a proper and official report based on your findings. Thank you. I'll be passing over to Brenda at this stage.
Okay, so we'll just get right into this. So we'll move to the next, which is the methods of extraction, data extraction on a mobile device. So this includes the physical system. This includes the physical system where we have to extract bit by bit device memory. We also have to we can use techniques like hex dump, chip off, or micro-read, and I'm sure is the most extensive method. So we also have the file system where we have to extract media files, images, audio, music, videos, and recordings, and so on like that from your phone. And also we have the logical data extraction where we have to extract files from backups using jailbreaking system or password cracking. And we also have the iOS file system, which are in two variations. We have to HFSX and also the HFX, then the partitions, which is also the system. It contains files and configurations that allows phone to work and come up as well. Then we have the data partition, which extracts artifacts directly from voice notes and stored videos as well. So we'll also be taking the iPhone operating modes, which is we have 3 modes, which is normal mode, the recovery mode, and the DFU mode. Normal mode is these are the regular activities like settings, installing apps, restoring iPhone. We have the recovery mode, which this is used when the iPhone refuses to boot on. It's also used for upgrade and also to restore our iPhone as well. Then we have the DFU mode, which is called the device firmware upgrade mode. Is used to perform an upgrade and diagnosis of also an iPhone as well. So we go right into the jailbreaking tools. Okay, so what is jailbreaking? Jailbreaking, it means that we will have to it's the removing of software restrictions that are intentionally put in place by the device manufacturer. And this gives more access to an investigator when investigating. So we have types of jailbreaking, which are tethered, semi-tethered. We also have tools that we can use like Panju jailbreak. You can use this tool to run different processes in the background. We also have Soft iOS forensic toolkit. That's mostly for the iOS. So these are references you can see. And also, thank you for this particular theory aspect. So I'm moving on to Layla to continue with the technical aspect. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Tololo Pele and I'm from South Africa. I just had a few technical issues. So I'll be demonstrating on how to perform forensic analysis on an Android device. So I'm going to be sharing my screen to show the demonstration. So when performing this analysis, you need 4 things in total. So you first need your USB cable and you also need your mobile device. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my mobile device, which is Android, to my laptop using my cable. And I'm going to use this file over here called the Angela master. And I'm also going to use my command prompt. You can also use your git bash if you don't have command prompt. So on my command prompt, I'm actually going to use it as my terminal to locate the Angela master. Just a second, please. Okay, due to technical issues, I'm just going to explain the process on how it works. So you first open your terminal, and after you open your terminal, you're gonna enter CD desktop / and Angela master, and it's gonna help me locate the file. After I locate the file, I'm going to enter the code on my terminal to upload the Angela application. And the code for that is Python -m Angela. Once I upload that, it's gonna show my Angela application. Once my Angela application is uploaded, it will give an option to either put output folder, under my output folder to check the device, and the last step will be to extract. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on output folder and create a folder where I'm going to save my evidence, the data that I've collected from my device, and then I'm going to click on check. After I click on check, I'm going to get my serial number, which shows that my device has been connected. Afterwards, I'm going to click on extract. After I click on extract, it's going to show a pop-up message on my phone asking me whether I want to extract the data or not. And then I'm going to click on backup, and it's going to start extracting. Once it's done extracting, it's going to open an HTML folder on my web browser, and it's going to give me a report of my data. And on that report, I'll be able to see which emails are connected on the phone, and I'll also be able to see which social media accounts do I have connected on the phone also, and passwords. And then the next thing I can do is I'm going to be able to open my evidence folder. And on my evidence folder, I'll have all the data and all the applications installed in the phone. And from there, you'll be able to do all the investigation and see what you have on your phone. And that will be the end of the presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. Our next team is Code Brigade 11. Can I start their presentation, please?
Good day, everyone. My name is Dawn Lumbi from South Africa, and I am part of Code Brigade 11. Today, we are here to do a demonstration on how to detect SQL injections and cross-site scripting attacks using the Splunk app. My group team members are...
Hello, everyone. I am Ngozi Okoye from Nigeria.
Hello, everyone. I'm Omo Mefawole from Nigeria.
I think our team member, Mitchell, has just...
Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle. Sorry, my name is Michelle. I'm from Kenya, and I'm sharing my screen.
That's great. So just to present our
Back to you,
policy
Dawn.
statement. Brewer Talk has been experiencing a decline in profitability and overall user experience. They discovered there was a data breach which led to a huge loss in intellectual property and sensitive company data. As part of the discovery phase of the project, Brewer Talk revealed that 2 of their employees, Kevin and Amber, had received phishing mails and unknowingly compromised company data and safety. They reached out to us as defense cybersecurity experts to assist them to figure out the issues on their server, as they have been losing customers. Over to you, team.
Okay, so like my team member had already previously said, we'll be carrying out this investigation using Splunk. Now, Splunk is a security and information and events management platform, software-based, that is used to monitor, analyze, visualize, and explain real-time events. And so to begin this investigation, we go to our Splunk page and to our search bar, and then we index or basically call out our data set, which is the bots v2. And bots v2 is that data set which contains all the information that will be used for this investigation. Now, to be able to query a search in Splunk, you would need to have a keyword that would enable you to carry out your search easily. And in this scenario, our keyword will be brewertalk.com, because right now we want to investigate the malicious attacker that was trying to attack the server. So what we will do now is to obtain the IP address of the attacker who tried to attack brewertalk.com, and that is known as the source IP address. Source because it is the IP address from which the traffic is being sent to BrewerTalk. And so we go to the timing and set it to all time. This is to enable us get all possible results in real time and without any time constraints whatsoever. And so we search. Give us a moment, we're waiting for the search to load. Now we have gotten about 50 events, which is a lot, and we will need to narrow down our search to help us get the results that we are looking for. And this is where the interesting fields come in. Splunk has a lot of several interesting and selected fields, which will enable you get your search in quicker time. And whenever you click on any of these fields, it's automatically added to your search bar. So now we search for the source IP because we are looking for the attacker's IP. So we search for source IP in the interesting fields and we click on it. This has narrowed down our events to just about 2 results, and we can sorry, just a moment. So we navigate to the source IP in the interesting fields. And then we click on it. And this gives us about 2 outcomes. So now it is easier for us to find the particular IP address of the attacker that was trying to attack BrewerTalk. And how do we know this? Well, the IP address that we are looking for is the address that has sent the most traffic, the highest amount of hits to brewertalk.com server. And looking at our screen, it's easy to say that the very one that has the highest amount of hits is the IP address of the attacker. Now we can actually take this a step further to look for the URL path that the attacker is trying to attack. And by doing so, sorry, a moment, Mitchell is having some issues with her network. So from the events, we go searching for the source IP, which gives us our source IP. And then to get our URL path that the attacker is trying to attack, we now click on the IP address of the attacker, which we have now obtained, and then it gets added to our search bar, and then we search for it. So from this result on our screen, we can see that the IP address, the very first IP address, has a staggeringly high amount of traffic that it has sent to the website, to the BrewerTalk website. And so that makes it the IP address of our attacker. So now to get the URL path that we are looking for, which the attacker tried to exploit while trying to exploit BrewerTalk server, we click on that IP address and wait for our results. Now we have about 136 events, which is a lot. So to narrow down, we once more go to our interesting fields and we search for the URL path. Now we have clicked on it and we can see clearly from the results on our screen that the very first URL path, which is member.php, has had the highest traffic while the attacker was trying to attack brewertalk.com. And so that consequently gives us the URL path that the attacker was trying to attack as member.php.
So we further like to investigate to see if an SQL attack has occurred on BrewerTalk website. So what is SQL injection? SQL injection are attack used on data-driven applications such as e-commerce database, real estate, property information. When I say e-commerce, when you on websites where you go shopping. So here we've would check in on our form data. We search for our form data for our from our interesting field to determine if there has been an SQL attack and what SQL function is being abused. So here we dedupe form data. Dedupe is to duplicate, to eliminate duplicate data, and we table our form data. This is to show our form data in a table format to be easier to read. Here it is observed we have 590 events, but because we've dedupe it, so it has limited it to a few 20. So out of this 20, we could see from the first one, we could see we have update XML, null concat, the whole of this command. It is observed here that update XML is an SQL function which was abused. SQL functions, we have different type of XML function. We have sum, we have count average, we have main, update XML. So this is update XML. And how else do we know this is an SQL injection? It contains SQL commands such as null, select, from, order by, and that's it. So we'd like to further search if BrewerTalk, we'd like to further investigate to see if XSS attack was exploited on exploited as well. So we use Kevin as our case study. XSS attack is when malicious script is injected in trusted websites in order to infect other users. So here we would insert into our search Kevin, because we're using Kevin as a use case. So Kevin, source type stream HTTP. Why we're using source type stream HTTP is because it's a web attack. So we're using source type stream HTTP. And then we'll call on our tag. From our interesting field, we'll select tag and error. Why are we selecting tag and error? SKSS attack returns error. So we're going to select from error and see which XSS attack was abused on this. Okay, yes, stream type. So yeah, tag error. And so from here, we would like to search through our cookies. We'll table our cookie. So we're searching for cookies value that return error. So here we can see we have our values here. We can see the first 6 values as the last as ACP login attempt error. Attempt equals 0, which is a sign of error. So here it is observed that XSS injection was abused. So I would like to further explain that SQL, we search for SQL through BrewerTalk because SQL is a server-side attack. And also we searched for XSS attack using Kevin as a use case because XSS is a client-side attack. Thank you.
In conclusion, we just want to say that we've investigated cross-site scripting attacks and SQL injections for BrewerTalk. And we'd just like to thank our coach, Oluwatobi, for training us. And thank you to the rest of my colleagues for dedicating themselves to this training. And thank you to our success advisor and to the rest of the CyberSci Foundation. Thank you.
That was a nice presentation. We'll be moving on to the next team. That will be Code Brigade 12.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vivian from Code Brigade 12. With me on the call are Goodness, Kene, Evelyn, and Omfile. Omfile will be introducing our topic.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Umphile Ngube, and today we'll be analyzing the Jigsaw ransomware. It's also known as the Bitcoin blackmailer. It is a type of encrypting ransomware which demands a ransom in order for one's file to be retrieved. Not only is it demanding, but also it threatens to delete your files every hour unless the ransom has been paid. And now I'll be handing over to Kene for the analyzation. Over to you, Kene.
Thank you, Umphile. My name is Kene from Nigeria. I'll be taking you guys on a practical tour of our topic. Our topic is investigating Jigsaw ransomware using volatility. Now, our tools include a virtual machine, Kali Linux, which is a Linux distribution. We'll also be using a command line, which is a user interface that is navigated via commands. We'll also be using a browser, a Firefox browser. Now, it is advisable to carry out this analysis on a virtual machine because we also have a memory dump, which is infected with a Jigsaw ransomware. So it is advisable to carry this analysis on a virtual machine in order not to infect our host operating system. Now, the first thing to do, we actually downloaded our memory tool, which is volatility. We also actually downloaded our memory dump. Now, the first thing to do, using basic Linux command, we have to navigate to where our memory analyzing tool is. Now, the first command is to cd, that's change directory to the desktop. Then after that, I'll change my directory to volatility. Then I'm going to run a command, that's the -h command. It's a volatility option, which lists out all the available options. Now, permit me to say I pre-run our commands before time because most of these commands take as long as 20 minutes to fetch results. So I'll just be taking you through on what I've run. Now, the -h command is responsible for listing out all the list of available options. Now we're going to be using options like the -f, the PS list, the DLL list, and the LDR modules. Now, the next thing to do is to use the -f to call the name of our memory dump. Now we're going to call it also using the path where it's saved it's actually saved on my downloads folder. Then I'll be using the profile option. Okay, sorry. The first thing to do is to, the next thing to do is to get the image info. Now, getting the image info, I have to use the download option and the name of my ransomware. Now, the image info brings up more information about the memory dump. Now we can see various informations like the DTB, the image time and date, and the suggested profile. For now, we're only interested in the suggested profile. We have at least 6 suggested profiles. We're only interested in the first suggested profile because it is recommended. Now, suggested profile, the suggested profile we're using is the Windows 7 Service Pack 1x64. That means it's a Windows 7 operating system with a 64-bit. So the next command we have to run using the profile option and the PS list option. The PS list option is responsible for fetching all the processes that is run as at the time the memory was captured. Now we have various processes listed here. The next thing to do is to determine which of this process is infected with the ransomware. Now, the way it's done, we have to do a manual search. Now, a manual search involves copying a process name and searching for it via Google. Now, I'm going to take three processes to search. The first process is the dllhost.exe, and for my search, it says that it's a Windows process created by Microsoft. So obviously, this process is safe. The next one is the wmiprv.se file. It also says that it's an important part of Windows, so it's highly safe. Now, our next process is the drpb.exe. Now, from my search, it's very obvious that it's a malicious program. So we have arrived at the conclusion that our infected process is the drpbx.exe. And note, we'll be using the system name and the process ID. So the next thing to do is to run the DLL list command. Now, this DLL list command, it gives us a list of DLL files that is running as at when this process was captured. Now we have a list of files here. The next thing to do is to get the list of DLLs that are responsible for encrypting the file. Because we're working with a Jigsaw ransomware issue, a Jigsaw ransomware is a ransomware that hijacks files and encrypts the files. So now, to determine which of these DLLs is actually the infected one, we're going to use the names to determine them. Now, looking through these DLLs, we can see 2 DLLs, one with cryptbase.dll and the one with cryptsp.dll. Now, from the name, we can conclude that these 2 DLLs are responsible for encrypting our files. After that, we all know that ransomware is also responsible for attaching itself to legitimate files. Now we're going to run the LDR module file, the LDR module option. The LDR module option is used to detect hidden DLLs. From my search, there are a whole lot of DLLs that have been brought up. So now we're going to use the Linux command, the grep command, to filter these DLLs using the drpbx.exe. That's the infected process. We're going to use the drpbx.exe as a filter to filter these DLLs that are only related to the infected file. So from my search, we've been able to come up with these DLLs. Now, to know the ones that are actually infected, we have to check the where these 3 columns have all false. And from here, we can see that we have 2 DLLs that just have false values all through. That's the user32.dll and the Microsoft.NET framework. That means that these 2 DLLs are responsible for, also responsible for the ransomware attack. Next thing to do is to get our file paths, because our analysis involves we carrying these infected files to our local machine. Now, how do we carry it to our local machine? We carry it to our local machine by, first of all, getting our current path. That's our working directory. And we get our working directory using the Linux command pwd, which means print working directory. Now, this is my current directory. So I have to dump these infected files on my local machine. I'm using the proc dump command. I'm using the process ID number, the process ID, then the dump dir directory. Then I'm also using my directory. Now, when I hit enter, it creates an executable file. When it creates an executable file, I have to use the ls command to list the files and directory I have in my volatility folder. Now, if you notice, I have an executable folder. What this means is that this executable folder is responsible for executing the ransomware attack. Now, I went further to use the virus total site. The virus total site is a site that is used to detect malicious content. Now, when I input the executable file name here, it shows that 53 out of 71 vendors actually confirmed that this particular executable file, which has a process of the drpb.exe, is actually infected. So this brings us to the fact that drpb.exe is the malicious process. Crypt PSP and crypt based on DLL is the infected DLL responsible for encryption, while the executable file is the executable file responsible for launching the ransomware attack. Thank you, and I'll be handing over to Eveline.
Good afternoon, ladies. I will be educating you on how systems get infected with Jigsaw ransomware. It spreads through the malicious attachment in spam emails, which we commonly know as phishing emails. It is activated if a user downloads the malware program that is masqueraded within the email. This is through either an attachment or a link to a web page. The web page will use a drive-in, which hides the downloading of this malware, and it is without the knowledge or permission of the user. This spyware encrypts all the user files and master boot records. Now, one preventative tip, which is the major preventative tip to prevent from Jigsaw malware from affecting your device, is the installation of anti-malware software, which prevents the execution and infection of your device from the Jigsaw malware. Thank you, and I'll be handing over to Goodness.
Thank you very much. My name is Goodness Oji from Nigeria. So I'll just add to what Eveline said, some of the preventive measures we can use to avoid the Jigsaw ransomware attack. And the most important would be educating users on not clicking attachments on mails. You need to be very careful when clicking attachments from unknown sources. Also, software installation should be a priority. You should not just install any software, unauthorized software whatsoever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. That was our last team. One team didn't make it to the presentations today. So I'm going to hand over to our judge. Please, the floor is yours. You have 10 minutes to address all the ladies. Thank you very much.
Okay, hello everyone. I think you all did so amazingly well in like explaining everything you had to present, and especially talking through your demos and really showing that you had an understanding of what exactly you were speaking to. I think that was really good. I loved the confidence I got from the different teams. The teamwork I also observed was really good from each and every one of you. There's just one thing I would say I want to point out, because it's always useful, especially when you're coming into the field. With regards to like investigating situations or trying to find out a loophole within a system, it's always good to always note that there are many steps to reaching a conclusion. And the fact that if you try one and you weren't able to find something doesn't necessarily mean that it's not there. So I just want to put that out there for everyone. But outside of that, I would just say a really big congratulations to everyone on your composure, your presentation, your explanations. And yeah, there were some lapses here and there with regards to the network, which happens from time to time. But overall, I would say to all the girls, you guys did amazingly well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies. Since we finished before time, I'll be redirecting everybody back to the main room. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you to our wonderful judge. And you all did wonderfully well. Thank you once again. So please, can you join the main room now?